Basically, the green list, it's not fit for purpose at the moment, and the quarantine on travelling needs to be lifted.
What brings you out here today?
Well, basically, 15 travel agents from all over Ireland has come to Dublin. We've assembled here outside Leinster House. We have our posters letting the general public and the government realise this dire situation that we're in.
So what could you tell me, why is the situation so dire for travel agents?
Well, the simple way of describing it is we have 3,500 staff who currently are sitting at home because we have no income from this year. We've lost our income from last year because we've had to refund the income we took in last year this year. So we're spending all our time with no money coming in and all the money going back out to the public because we have to refund, because we're bonded, we're licensed, and we actually are here to protect the consumer, which is something that very, very often goes unnoticed. So unlike many other businesses where somebody can stay at home, we can't. We've got to keep working, and we've got to keep refunding and looking and re-protecting our customers, some that are choosing to travel next year because of the government advice that's there.
What do you think of the countries that are currently on the green list?
A consistent approach is what's actually required, because we've noticed that we started with no green list effectively, and then we had a green list, and then we were told it was going to change every 14 days, and then it didn't change every 14 days. And now the measurements that they're using in each instance is also changing, so the metrics of it, so the consumer hasn't a clue what's going on when they come to sit down and try and travel.
Why do you think the travel agent industry is so important to the Irish economy?
It's extremely important to the Irish economy because we bring 1.2 billion worth of money into this country every single year. We don't bring it into the country, but that's our industry, it's what our worth is. And we look after the customers because they're so well protected, because we are so regulated, and the service we provide is second to none.
Do you see the same problem that your industry is going through in this country? Do you see that playing out in other countries across Europe, or are they ahead of the curve on this?
It's very, very similar in the UK, very similar to the UK. They work the same, their licensing is very similar to ours, their bonds are similar to ours, so they're the same as us. So we see that, not as familiar with the rest of Europe, but I would suspect it's across the board. They have a lot more of the surface travel on the trains and cars, whereas we don't have that because we have to fly by air. We have no choice.
What do you think that the government should do? If you could be granted a wish list and they would grant you all of your commands, what would you ask of them to try and help your industry get back on its feet?
Right now, we need to keep the wage subsidy of €350 per week in place, and we need to have that in place until possibly April 2021. We are also looking for grants to cover our forward-moving costs. We're still going to have to stay in our offices all through the winter with zero customers, zero income, but we have overheads, and we have to get a grant to pay those overheads.
New Zealand has began, their governments are now assisting, and Australia are assisting their travel agents to be able to stay in existence. And on the point of the value to the economy, if you assume that 20% of travel is booked by travel agents in Ireland, that helps airlines maintain their economies of scale, because if we weren't there and adding those 20%, they'd lose the economies of scale, and you would also lose the inbound tourism business.